small part of how he looks for new ideas, inspiration, and the drive to pursue new and exciting projects. In a world of distractions, conflicts, and so many ups and downs, how does one find motivation and inspiration? Brian's speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and his objectives are to select the right words and sentence structure, to communicate ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly, and to use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize ideas. The title of his speech is, How Do You Find Inspiration? Brian?
All right, I kind of filled in last minute, so please forgive me. I'm going to have to review my notes just a little bit as I speak today. How do we find inspiration? Well, Tom Krause says, if you only do what you know you can do, you never do very much. You know, the dictionary describes inspiration as something that moves you or gives you a mental stimulus. Creativity isn't everything. Everywhere we turn, there's some aspect of creativity in something, even in destruction, because there's resources to be found, there's inspiration to be found. Anything to me can be the seed of an idea. I really think that from time to time we have to empty our vessels so that we can receive more, because we can fill ourselves with so much information as we get overloaded with everything day to day, especially with our technology that we have. Some people refer to it as the flow, super subconscious mind, or the oversoul. And these are terms that may be over the top for some, but to others, it can just begin to describe the tip of the iceberg. How many of you remember being a kid and exploring or having just, not really any toys, but taking boxes and turning them into a fort or a home or some kind of a dollhouse or something? How did the masters of yesterday do it? How do the artists of today find it? How can you? By asking these simple questions, we begin to learn, become aware, and notice things that passed us by before. There are some nights that I may not be able to sleep because I have so many ideas going through my mind. I have to be careful what I watch or listen to before I sleep, because as I sleep, my brain goes over everything I've done during the day, but also those last moments of information I absorb. So if you guys have been in distress or have eaten that last minute dinner and had all that food kind of sitting on you while I sleep, that's generally when I tend to dream the most. And sometimes I can't sleep. I get overwhelmed. I'll have to wake up and walk up and write down notes. I have a notepad in my car, next to my bed, just anywhere that I know that I might have inspiration. So I challenge you all to think outside your box of traditional thinking. We all have different positions and titles that we live and work every day, but sometimes it's not enough. We need to challenge ourselves to try and look at something different wherever we are, because every day brings change. Now imagine an inspiration often walk the same path. I remember my days as a child exploring the woods down the street, making forts out of old tin and scrap from the local dump, taking those old Coca-Cola and Pepsi bottles I found from the 1950s or 19th and using them as a spyglass. I had my dogs that were my comrades. We'd go into the woods and meet a family of possums or run into a coyote, and it was just an adventurous feeling because we had 5 acres of land. All of our neighbors had 5 acres, and then we had 160 acres down the street. It was just there for me to explore. Now these days, we don't necessarily want our kids just walking off in the neighborhoods because we're scared. We don't know who we can trust. However, there was a lady that, unfortunately, I don't remember the name today to bring to you, and I'll have that probably in the updated speech. But she talked about as children, we're taught, don't talk to strangers. But when you want to network, when you want to find inspiration, sometimes it is important as an adult to talk to strangers. Because when you want to find a new job opportunity, something that can inspire you to have a better life and to work towards your future dreams and goals. Now later, I grew up in high school, I had my own magazine. That was to challenge myself. And I found inspiration from the writers, the artists I had submitting to that, and challenged myself using that as a medium to give myself more resources. Later I traveled, I explored Texas, New Orleans, Colorado, Vegas, and Los Angeles. You can imagine how very different those cities can be You know, when I was in Los Angeles, I got invited to a clown funeral. Now, a funeral for a clown, that's kind of, and a rabbit gave the eulogy of all things. So that was quite strange. And, you know, I think what I figured it out is there was another curtain. I think there was someone behind there, and they must have put food or something on that microphone, or maybe it was just a talented rabbit, I don't know. But someone found the inspiration to put together a funeral for a clown to inspire people, and it was in memory of that clown. And, you know, there's days when and if I do get depressed, those are the days that I don't let inspiration speak to me. Those are the days I block off something, I'll wake up, stub my toe, and get angry or upset. And those are vices that can close yourself off to things. So remind yourself that those are just challenges to yourself. The minute you have the instinct to think negative, don't do it. Transmute it, think positive. Think about something you're grateful for. Think about, you know, that lunch you're gonna have with a friend later. Think about that paycheck that you'll get at the end of the week if you show up to work. Because if you get sick and you don't go in, then you know the consequences. Wayne Gretzky says that you miss 100% of the shots you do not take. Now, if there's inspiration in the world that you can find, I say let it be a reminder that our time in this world is limited, and that we must take action on our goals and our dreams, or they will pass us by. What talents and skills are you neglecting? If you open yourself to the possibilities and all the inspiration that's around you, you won't have to look for it, because inspiration will find you. Madam Toastmaster.